Okay guys, we are standing outside Broad Porch Coffee. This is Jay and Ryan's new coffee shop in Luray, Virginia. So I took a trip down this morning with a girlfriend to have some coffee, go thrifting in their town, and of course, meet Jay and Ryan. Come on inside, let's take a look. So this portion of the video is going to be more like a tour of the coffee shop rather than an interview with Ryan and Jay. Their schedule is so busy that I was so appreciative for them to even invite me down to see the coffee shop and sit with them for a little while that I really didn't want to take time in trying to set up the camera and, asking them a lot of questions on camera. Maybe that'll happen in the future. But today the purpose of me coming was just to support what they're doing. I think they're an amazing couple, if I haven't already said that enough. And so here I'm just going to show you what the coffee shop is like, how much fun we had, what we ate, and then we're going to show the thrifting down the street. What a fun day. Here I was really intrigued by bottled rainwater. It's carbonated rainwater, and yep, I bought it. It was really good. It was kind of like a seltzer, but it had a little bit of a fresher flavor in my opinion. So I really tried to not film other people in the video. I'm trying very desperately as I grow in my filming career, business, whatever, to keep people out of shot as much as possible. I do wind up catching a few people, and I'm very sorry for that. I tried to film everybody from their backs, so it wasn't so intrusive. But look at the decor design of this shop. I mean, every item, every aspect is just so curated and beautiful. Okay, this case was filled when we came in. The baked goods are so good. So good. I was going to bring extra home, but I'm trying to lose weight. But I did have a piece of that blueberry almond cake. And can I just say, I even had a little bit on my plate and I wrapped it in a napkin and put it in my handbag when I left. I did not want to leave it behind. But the care and the design, there's Jay and Ryan. Love you guys. Nicest people ever. You know when you see somebody on social media and then you meet them in real life, you don't know what to expect? They are even nicer in real life. So down to earth. Look at this gorgeous wall mural. I think Jill, Jay and Ryan's partner, hand painted this. I mean, it could be some sort of stencil, but the artwork is just stunning and the color is gorgeous. Okay, I also fit in time to ask Ryan about this table. I want this table in my house. This is a table that they picked up. There's a zoom in of my cake. And they stripped the polyurethane down and it's beautiful farmhouse style. So much attention to detail. Every aspect was curated, really beautiful. And on top of it, they have an outdoor deck. You can sit out there and just enjoy the scenery, the beautiful creek. So here I'm just going to insert a few still shots of this beautiful, beautiful coffee shop. Congratulations to you guys, to Jay and Ryan, Scavenger Life. Thank you so much for your hospitality. I loved meeting you guys. It was everything I thought it would be. And the 3-hour drive went by so quickly because my girlfriend Roseanna and I talked the whole time, mostly about reselling. So thank you, Roseanna, for coming along with me. I love you, girlfriend. We had a great time. And if you are a coffee drinker, shameless plug once again, you really want to try Broad Porch Coffee from Luray Virginia. They do have a website, which I will link in this video if you guys want to buy coffee and support them. And you can also listen to them weekly. Usually by Monday morning, they have posted their podcast. So thanks again for watching. Go out and get what's yours. So after sitting for a little while with Jay and Ryan, Roseanna and I decided to pop down the street into a thrift store that Ryan had mentioned. You don't have to tell us twice. And this was after coffee and before lunch. So we do wind up going back to the coffee shop, but we figured we would check out what it was like thrifting in Luray, Virginia, in their town. So this is a little shop, a thrift store, probably a couple of locations down from the coffee shop. And it was pretty exciting. We were really interested to see what thrifting was like in their town. So here I'm finding a milk glass footed bowl or vase. Now recently it's come to my attention that milk glass is gaining a little bit of popularity compared to what it's been like in the past. So I do pull down that bowl to run a comp just to start to get my feet wet in looking for milk glass to see what's valuable and what's not. I don't wind up picking up that bowl, but I always like hearing about when different items maybe fell out of favor and come back when there's a resurgence. I know there are quite a few milk glass decor ideas for weddings, and I think that must be really pretty. A lot of what is in the store is vintage, so that was really interesting. Here I'm finding two mirrored medicine cabinets. I think it might have been a mistake on my part not to bring these home with me, but because my mind was filled with so many other ideas, I wound up leaving those behind. Now I have sold mid-century modern medicine cabinets, the kind that get recessed into the wall, but they were a very slow mover and I sold them locally. So here I'm just looking at what's on the shelf. This little vase caught my attention. Not really any markings underneath, but I did like the bird pattern. Unfortunately, it did not sit flush. The bottom had a bow to it, so it had a rock, so I left that one behind. You guys know I'm on a bunny kick lately, looking at all the bunnies. It's funny when you see different animals in a thrift store, in figurine form, how your eye just catches it, whether it be elephants or, monkeys, different things. And lately I've been noticing bunnies. I thought this vase was interesting, looked handmade. That was an interesting piece. It was like a silhouette of a face. Now this store also runs a yard sale type of sale, and we had asked about it, and I believe they said it was early June. So it might give me a reason just to take the ride back and have some delicious coffee. The coffee was phenomenal. I have to say, it was so good. I had an iced coffee. I think that's what Roseanna had also. And I brought home probably, I'm going to say 8 pounds of coffee or 8 bags of coffee. And I have opened the first one the very next morning and had, what am I drinking? I'm going to have to take a look and put it on the screen of what bag I opened. So delicious. And I've been giving some away to friends. So a lot of what was in the store could be a very country vibe, primitive, folk art, some mid-century modern, but not the really hot seller kind, the atomic or the, the kind that you'd see on Mad Men. But still, this store is definitely worth popping into. So at this point, I'm looking at furniture and bigger pieces, golf clubs. I thought this golf club was really interesting. I had never seen this aqua color, which doesn't really mean anything. I, haven't seen a lot of the golf clubs out there. I don't buy a lot of vintage golf clubs. The ones I'm looking for are the popular names, for what everybody's looking for now. So I do sell quite a bit of Nike drivers, so that is a brand to look out for. Here I'm noticing a little cubby shelving behind the register, and I wasn't sure if we were allowed back here, but things were calling my name. I picked this deer up, and unfortunately, after I purchased it, I did allow it to be put into the bag of the clothing that I bought. And when I got home, the first thing I always do when I come in the house is put the items that I'm going to wash downstairs, and I threw the bag down the stairs because it was late when I came in, and I forgot that the little guy was in there and I broke his ears. So very sad about that. He was cute. And I told myself, okay, don't slam it down on the floor. Yeah, I did it anyway, after all these years. So Roseanna did wind up picking up a few pieces also. And the majority of what I got in the store is clothing, which I'm going to show right after this video and do a haul on what I picked up and why I picked it up. So again, a lot of what they had wasn't really my taste or what I was looking for, but in their defense, they did have a big sale going on. So the clothing sale was really interesting. You filled one bag, one white kitchen type trash bag, you filled that for $10 and you got 2 more free. And spoiler alert, there were 2 other shoppers who got to the dresses right before I did. And I was saying, oh, don't take all the dresses, don't take all the dresses. And I was able to score a couple of them. So I was really thrilled with that. Here's a food dog. Not really, a high quality one, but they always catch my attention. I think they're called food dogs, right, guys? So here is a still shot of the 6 dresses that I did pick up at that thrift store. Now, I apologize for this photo, but when I came home from the trip, it was about 9 o'clock at night, and I really wanted to get the items into the washing machine. So I did wash them, delicate cycle, and whenever I pick up especially vintage clothing, I give them a good soaking period. So I put them in the machine, cold water with a gentle soap, and I do let them soak in that sudsy solution for at least a couple of hours, if not overnight. And then I rinse them thoroughly. Well, the machine rinses them thoroughly, and then I usually hang dry dresses. So these are the 6 dresses that I wound up buying. Just beautiful. And now we're going to do a haul with the dresses, and I'm going to talk about what I paid for them, what I expect to get for them, and why I chose these dresses. All right, stay tuned. So this part of the video, we are going to talk about the 6 dresses that I picked up while thrifting in Virginia. Now, even though the thrift store had a ton of hard goods, the items weren't really speaking to me. So what I did was go down into the basement and take a look at the clothing. They were running an amazing sale. It was fill a kitchen trash bag for $10 and then get 2 more free. And although I couldn't find enough to even fill the 1 bag, I did come away with these 6 dresses that I just love. So the reason I picked these dresses is the minute I saw them, I felt like the keyword CottageCore could be used for them. So if you're not familiar with CottageCore, it represents kind of like celebrating a rural lifestyle. Think like a woman running through a prairie that has flowers, a thatched roof cottage, handwork and handcrafts really celebrated, knitting, embroidery, lots of floral touches, and really a lot of femininity in the style. So while the dresses here on the mannequin and behind me are different from each other, a lot of the keywords that I use will be similar. Some of the keywords that I use are prairie, farm girl, farmhouse, chore dress, and CottageCore. So we're going to go through these dresses one by one fairly quickly, and I'm just going to say what details on the dress I really liked and why I picked it up. Now, all 6 dresses were $1 each. You can't beat that. I didn't find any flaws in the dresses yet. They are all washed. In fact, a few of them might be still a little damp, but I wanted to include this portion of the video at the end of this video. So let's get started, and we'll talk about the dresses one by one. So this first dress to me has a little more CottageCore style than some of the others. The Battenberg collar with the lacy trim is just beautiful. This is like a crocheted trim. The dress also has a floral print, which most CottageCore style items do have a floral print. Now, the florals can vary, but generally it gives the sense of kind of like a cottage look. Think of a girl living in a cottage, if that makes sense. I'm just going to be repeating cottage a lot. So this dress is vintage. It still has shoulder pads, which I will disclose in the listing. Some people take those out, some people keep them in. The dress has a banded waist with a pleated, it's like a dropped waist, a pleated detail, and then it is long, I'm going to say a little bit above the ankle, so it's kind of like between ankle length and a midi. Let's turn the dress around. The back has a button back and it is also smocked. Now I'm not sure if you guys know what smocked is, if many of you know, so I'm going to actually lift this up and show this to you. See this banding here? This is an elastic gathering, and it makes the dress just have a more comfortable fit. Smocking is also used sometimes around the neckline or at the cuff of the sleeve, but for this dress it is at a dropped waist and it would sit kind of like on the hips. It gives a really nice look to the dress. So that is dress number one. I paid $1. I imagine I'm going to get probably about $30. So we'll see how that does, and I'll report back on Instagram, Lavender Clothesline, if it does indeed bring $30. This next dress is handmade. There are no labels in it. So the way that I create my title will include a bust or a waist measurement, sometimes even the length if I have room, because it's very hard online to buy clothing that has no labels in it. How do you know what size it is? So with these type of handmade dresses, I will give more information so that the buyer kind of knows if this is going to fit them or not. So the dress is lined with a plain cotton material, and it has this beautiful chintz roses pattern. I really like this one. I call this more of a farmhouse style, and I'm not sure why. I think because it has like an apron work vibe to it. So it's not like I really found that anywhere. I think I just made it up. But that's what I visualize when I see a dress like this. You can put like a white t-shirt under it. That's a very cute look with a pair of sneakers, or you can dress it up and, you know, put jewelry with it and a pair of low pumps. But this is what the dress looks like. It's a blue with a roses floral print and pleated at the waist, and then it usually has a button side, and this one does. It's almost like an overall style, but it's a dress. Very pretty. Again, similar length to the one before this one, and again I paid $1, and I will use the same keywords that I will use for all of the dresses: prairie, cottage style, CottageCore, something along those lines. This next one is a very similar style, but it does have a tag or a branding. This is Faith Mountain Company, Sperryville, Virginia. So that's very cool that I found it in Virginia and it was made in Virginia. Kind of love that. And again, this no sleeve style chore dress. This one has a tie back waist, which should be more desirable because that way it gives the body a nice form. And I think this one is a little bit longer. I haven't measured these. So far they're just washed and dried. I haven't steamed them or measured them or list them. So if you want one of these, it's probably going to take me about 5 to 7 days to get this into the store because I've got a ton of stuff sitting by my desk all ready to be listed. But I really like this one. I like the floral print to it. Now this one is unlined, so it's a lighter weight a little bit, button front and a V-neck. Generally, chore dresses, more of them will have this V-neck than a rounded neck. But I do find the rounded necks, but most of the times those are denim. So again, I will list this with CottageCore as one of the keywords. This fourth one has a little bit of a different vibe going on. I almost want to call this a vintage church dress. Now, a lot of these dresses are vintage. They're true vintage. But this one is a little bit fancier, but it's definitely a farmhouse dress, I would call this. So I picture a woman, years ago who lived on a farm, but she gets dressed up a little bit to go to church, but it's still got that same vibe to it. So it is a gingham check, a green gingham check, and it has a pearl button front and then this beautiful collar with a rickrack trim. I love these pearl buttons. It doesn't get any better than that. This is in gorgeous condition. After I washed it and I saw it drying, I was like, that looks brand new. Now, none of these are brand new and I won't list them that way. And again, this is the smocking waist in the back. It just conforms to the body so it's not just hanging straight down. But very pretty dress, and to me it really has an older vibe to it, a gentler time we'll call it, but I really love this one. And again, let's see how long this is. I'm going to hold this up against me. This one's a maxi all the way. I wish I had a lifestyle to wear this. And it has the shoulder pads. I can feel the puffiness. But okay, so that is dress number 4, a gingham check farmhouse dress. The last 2 dresses are both a brand called Karen Stevens. And the Karen is Karin Stevens. Now, I don't buy a lot of this brand because the return on it is just not there. The comps aren't there for it. But having said that, when I find it for $1 and it fits into a certain style where I can use certain keywords and the eyes are on it, it does up the chances of it selling. So I will go ahead and do that. I do have that rule kind of for myself that a lot of times I just don't ignore a brand because it's a lower end brand or it doesn't bring money. I will judge each piece for its merit. If I think enough people will click into it and look at it and therefore hopefully turn into a sold. So this one is Karen Stevens Petites and it is a 14 petite, and I really liked the colorway on this. Beautiful blues, purples, and pinks. And again, I will call this CottageCore, and that is what it looks like. Again, the smocked waist back and the shoulder pads. Definitely vintage, beautiful feminine dress. No, it doesn't have a lot of the lacy or ruffleness. This is more of a plain one. So I will go ahead and put like farmhouse or farm style or something to do with a little bit of a plainer look other than the CottageCore, if that makes sense. All right, so this is the first one. And then this one is a 14, not petite, but again, shoulder pads. That is the waist. And there is the smocking. Just beautiful. I love these dresses. I'm really hoping that my judgment was good to pick these up, and I will report back on Instagram how I do with these CottageCore farmhouse prairie dresses. Okay, so that is the video for today. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for all of your support. I love you guys, and I always hope that you go out and get what's yours.